Show on 105.5 The Beat.
Hey, welcome back. We are the Freak Show. And awesome to have him here in studio, especially on All Hallows Eve. He's one of our frequent Twitter contributors. And he was one of the stars of our zombie prom. Yes. Everybody, welcome to the Freak Show. The great Chris Webb is here, Mr. Halloween himself.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. How you doing, Freak Show?
What's happening, man?
I'm doing great. It's the best day of the year, and I'm really happy. I'm all dressed out, looking good. It's the one day of the year I can actually wear this awesome suit.
I love the suit.
Drive my awesome car and not be looking strange.
That's right, yes. For those that don't know, first of all, he's wearing a jack-o'-lantern suit. You know, it's black and orange. It's very nice. Got the full tie and everything, like the whole effect. It's beautiful. And he drives a hearse.
That's right, Black Betty. When you see her around, baby, say hi.
What year is that hearse? It's a what?
She is a I gotta say she, because she's great. She's a girl. She's a 1984 Cadillac hearse.
Nice.
All original from 1984. My buddy found it for me in a crematorium or in a mortuary in Tampa.
Really?
And he's like, dude, you gotta have this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I need that car.
Wow.
And it's got 36,000 original miles. Everything's original in that car. And I drove her down here. And
badass.
Mean and grumpy ever since.
Yeah, right. She's temperamental.
She's so temperamental, yeah.
And now, you don't drive that as your everyday vehicle, of course, right?
No, on the weekends I drive her a lot. I mean, it's like 9 miles to the gallon.
Right.
Yeah, you know. But I do drive her as much as I can. I love driving her around the old folk community saying, "You're next."
Yeah, right.
Just to scare everybody. I do take her to car shows.
Back, yeah,
and I point to them like, "You're next. I'm coming for you." And they really hate it, but I love it. Driving hers in Florida is fun.
That is awesome. That is great. So Halloween is your time of year. I
Absolutely.
mean, how did this all get started for you? And tell me a little bit about your history with that.
Well, honestly, it sounds strange, but growing up, I was raised like everybody's raised a certain way, and one thing you were not allowed to watch growing up was horror movies. And so once I became of age to get my own first VHS rental card, the very first movie I ever rented, or two movies, was Evil Dead 2 and Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes.
And those are the movies I started watching them, and I loved them, and I just started loving horror movies.
Right.
Yeah.
What are your favorite type of horror films? Because there's so many different types.
Right.
You know, there are your paranormal ones. You know, those are very popular nowadays, where it looks like there's a hidden camera in the house, and there's ghost activity going on. So you have those, and then you have your creature from another world type thing.
Sci-fi horror,
right? Sci-fi type horror. Then you have your slasher film, right?
Right. Most famous ones.
Yeah. Which are your favorites?
Well, growing up, we always watched it sounds funny. Growing up, we all watched the slasher movies, and we got used to that. But of course, they started to evolve to better ones.
Right.
Personally, I did always enjoy like the Predator and Aliens. I like the sci-fi stuff like that, which are always still very scary.
Still,
I do like nowadays. I like the ghost ones,
right?
Like the Annabelle Part 2, which is great. The Conjuring, The Conjuring 2 was awesome.
Yes.
Insidious, like movies that make me like slasher movies. You know what's going to happen,
right?
The girl's going to run up the stairs. She's going to fall down. He's going to be right behind her after she does ran a mile. But I do like the
teens are going to get drunk. They're going to get beheaded, right? Teens are having sex. Someone's going to come and he's going to skewer both of them at the same time.
So we already know what's going to happen there. But I do like the paranormal ones because you don't know what's going to happen. A good boo scare is always fun, even for a guy like me. I do get scared at some of them.
What is your favorite horror movie of all time? Do you have one?
Let's just get this.
That's a hard question.
It's a very hard question.
Yeah.
Evil Dead 2 is the best horror movie of all time. I will defend it. I will say it. The original, not the remake. Yes, nowadays, because we're old, and back in my day, we don't have to say the remakes.
Right.
But the original movies are always the best.
Yes.
Evil Dead 2, Bruce Campbell's a god to me. I love Evil Dead 2.
He's awesome, yeah.
I watch it all the time.
Yeah.
That's my best one.
I love Ash versus Evil Dead on Stars. It's great, yeah.
And it's great, well written, too, just
very
like,
well written.
From the actual movie.
Right.
I do love Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Pretty much the main monsters I love.
Right.
Those are always my favorite to watch over and over again.
Sure.
You got the Hellraiser.
I like Hellraisers.
Back in the day, they didn't have CGI and special effects.
No.
So they had to really make the props. So I really appreciate things that are actually there.
Sure. Because you know that there are people that had to craft all the different effects that you saw, whether it be, and these are not, easy things to do. Nope. Like you would think that, now with today and CGI and everything, that's super easy. But even with today's prosthetics, it's easy to make an axe wound that's spurting blood. But back then, people had to invent literally their own things in order to make those happen.
It's funny you say it because me and my friends, we have a small horror production company. We make horror movies locally.
Right.
We don't make no money off it. That's why we're a small production company called Horror Aficionado Productions.
I love it.
So we made a couple of movies. We made a movie called Stringfellow Lane out on Sanibel, and we also made a movie called Cursed Hearse, which is about my car, Black Betty.
Right.
And I love Evil Dead so much. The director, Sam Raimi.
That's awesome.
I studied his work and how he did it.
Yeah.
So even with the 80s style, I made a great horror movie with the props and everything. I'm like, well, how would Sam Raimi do this?
Right.
How would Wes Craven do this?
Yes.
And it came out great. It's actually a great movie. So
people
if you guys
can see it on YouTube, right?
That's right. If it's on YouTube. It's called Cursed Hearse. It's all filmed locally. It's about buying a hearse, and it's cursed. It's a mixture between Christine and Idle Hands. It turned out to be a really good comedy, though. So yeah,
that's awesome. So it's like a horror comedy, which is pretty cool. Yeah, Cursed Hearse. You can see it. It's a short horror film. It's about what, like 40-something minutes, something like that.
It's about 45 minutes. There's a fun blooper reel at the end. It turned out it took me 2 years to write it. It's 4 months to film it. And while making it, I just figured, how can I make this funny?
Right.
So at first it was a scary movie, and all of a sudden it's like, well, let's just add some good, Three Stooges stuff in here.
Right.
So it turned out to be a great movie, and everybody had a great time doing it.
That's awesome.
So if you guys ever want to have a fun movie to watch Cursed Hearse.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube. It's on my channel, and it's a fun watch.
I like that. Yeah, you have a channel, and you've got other videos that are on there as well.
Yeah, I have about 7 movies. We do a lot of Star Wars stuff.
Awesome.
Because I'm a big nerd.
I like that.
Yeah, just fun stunts and stuff like that.
So you're into horror movies and into comics and Star Wars and all that other kind of stuff. And when Halloween comes around, are there any specialty type things that you do? Do you go to events? I mean, what is your thing?
Well, usually, like as you guys on the weekends, it's for the adults. So like over the weekend, I was partying like Rob the Phone Freak. I was out there all night having a good time, having a good time. Usually on Halloween night, because it's mostly for the kids and we're all adults now, which I got to say, Halloween is for the kids. It's not for us. So please, guys, drive slow.
Yes.
Keep your brights on. Remember, the kids are out there.
For sure.
But what I usually do is I volunteer for this place called Terror on 20th.
Yeah.
A good friend of mine who has another hearse named Morticia. Out in Cape Coral. It's a nice house. It has about $30,000 worth of props.
That's crazy.
You bring a canned food, and it's a fun event, and the kids line up to go there. So I'm usually there volunteering on Halloween night.
That's awesome.
Unless it's on the weekend, and I'm going out and going something, having some fun.
Yeah. I feel the same way. I think like the weekends, before or the days before Halloween, that's where the adults go out, girls dressed in slutty costumes, everybody gets super drunk, has a good time. But Halloween night is definitely for the kids. So it's Terror on 20th. Where is that? It's on 20th, I assume.
It's on 20th Avenue. If the best way to describe it, if you go on Veterans, just go south on 20th Ave, and you can't miss it.
Right on.
It's a giant house with tombstones out front. There's a beautiful hearse out there.
I love it.
And the kids are lined up and down the street. It's bring a canned food for donation, for charity. They do something for the Boy Scouts. So that's what I like to do, is volunteer my time.
That's awesome.
And if anything I could do with me and Black Betty to volunteer, I don't care what month it is, what day it is, you can always count on me and Black Betty to be there.
Do you do stuff like throughout the rest of the year too, not just on Halloween?
Yeah, absolutely. Usually around when it's cold like this, we try to start getting some ideas for like small short movies.
Right.
But if there's any type of like car washes or something for charities like what you do for the bikes, that's what I try to do. And it's kind of fun just showing up in a hearse.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Whoa.
It's great to have a hearse on site.
And I do have a casket in the back. I have a casket in the back where the kids do climb in and get photos.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so whatever I could do with that thing, always make fun out of Halloween, because to me it's year round.
That is awesome.
That's cool.
And you just watch the hell out of horror movies. What do you think about the reboots and the remakes of horror movies? How do you feel about those?
Well, I don't like them.
Yeah.
Although, because let's put it this way. Look at Poltergeist.
Right.
What was that movie about? Now, here's one thing I got to say. I do not like remakes, but there's one movie that does need to be remade. And people hate me for saying it, but I do stand by it, is the movie Phantasm.
Phantasm.
That movie does deserve a remake because it was done in the 70s. It was not filmed well. It was a great story, but it needs to be done.
Right.
With that said, the one movie I did not want to see remade was Evil Dead.
Yes.
I was so mad when it came, they said they were doing it, but when I watched it, I had to say, it was a great movie.
It really was not bad.
I know. But some of them need to be left alone. Some movies, I don't really see any new movies that need to be redone.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I'm really liking how they did it back then, but like let's add CGI to these new old great movies. It's like, no.
Oh yeah.
It's a classic.
Leave
it alone.
Super classic. Yeah. I feel like in the 70s, the later 70s and the 80s, the slasher film was so popular and it gained so much ground not because it was realistic. I mean, it's unrealistic to have a killer that you keep killing over and over again and he keeps coming back. But what made it scary is that there was nowhere for them to go, no way for them to call for help. Setting a movie in the year 2017 would be tough.
Phones,
because everybody's got a phone
GPS,
and boom, you got an app and you're done. You know what I mean? See you later, Jason. I'm out of here. Right? Like, it would be tough to do that. So I feel like, do you you think that era of film is over? Or do you think that a great slasher film could be set in the year 2017?
That's a strong theory on that, because I always thought about that. Like, how do you film a horror movie nowadays?
Yeah.
Some people, I mean, for people like me, you try to find out, like, oh, you go into somewhere where there's no signal.
Right.
Or stuff like that. So I like to see if they come out with new ideas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we've already seen every idea there is.
Right.
But if they add, like, all these new problems, all these new, like, well, I can get my cell phone out and call somebody.
Sure.
Maybe the battery died, stuff like that.
Maybe the killer has set up cell phone jammers all in the woods, so now you can't use your phone.
Maybe he's like some high-tech nerd that knows how to, like, program stuff and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I like to see if there's new ideas.
He steals all the chargers.
There you go.
Oh, there you go. Right. And they discover, they walk in, it's like this shed is just all these chargers hanging from it.
The phone charger killer.
No.
Although I have to say, I do like the ideas of like the Freddy vs. Jason movies.
Right.
Because growing up, we always wondered, I know me and my brothers, like, would Jason beat Freddy? What if Leatherface fought Michael Myers?
Right.
I gotta admit, those type of ideas, putting those together.
Those are kind of cool.
It's always a fun horror comedy. And like, they make fun of the old days.
True.
Which I do really enjoy.
I heard, and I know that they did, they did Friday the 13th again, like in 2009 or 10 or something like that. Not great. I mean, it
not
was...
great, not bad.
Not great, not
I
bad.
liked it.
They were toying with doing it again, another reboot.
Let it go.
Where in this case, though, it is seen from the perspective of Jason. So you don't really get to see Jason. In effect, you are Jason throughout the film.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's interesting. But with that said, it's like, how many do we have already?
Right.
It's like, let's try something different.
Let's do a different killer.
Yeah, exactly. Like, let's bring like a Leatherface mask onto it. Like, try something different.
Yeah.
I know the Michael Myers is being redone again, and they're trying to do all that stuff like that. But it's like, which I really did like the Rob Zombie remake.
I did too.
Fun fact about the mask. The original 1977 mask. Yeah. Some of you know that was a William Shatner mask.
Right, from Star Trek.
Yes, it was funny because they had a $200,000 budget, which was nothing to make a movie.
No money.
They went to the store and got a William Shatner Star Trek mask for $2, and they painted it white. And boom, there it is.
There
which is quite amazing.
There's the killer mask.
And that stuck. You know?
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And you got to think too of how many hockey masks were sold during the 1980s because of the Friday the 13th movies.
I had mine. Right. I had like all the different ones I've had.
It makes you wonder what the directors or the producers or whoever wrote that as part of the story for him to be wearing a hockey mask. Like, where did that come from? The masked killer thing, and why was it a hockey mask for Jason?
That's a good thing. I don't know that, because first it started off with the mother.
Right.
Then it was the pillowcase for it too, and then for some reason it had a great idea to grab the hockey mask.
Yeah.
And it's funny how iconic things like that stick.
Right.
Like the machete.
Yes.
Like the knife is Michael Myers.
Right.
Like the chainsaw is Leatherface.
Yeah.
You know, like the glove is Freddy.
Right.
I would like to see a new monster for like the next generation.
Right.
Of like, the cell phone killer. Like a kid with a cell phone.
Right. Yeah.
Or something like that.
Exactly. I like too how there's this whole genre of video games that are dedicated to horror. And speaking about Friday the 13th, there's a company that did a Friday the 13th game. You love it.
Oh, it's so good.
Right.
They also have a Leatherface one.
Yes.
Not as cool as the Jason one.
Yeah. There's another one. I think it's a package, right? And you could be Leatherface. I think there's one you could be Michael Myers. Yeah. They have like different packages that you could add on to it.
And you could be any which one you want. You could be Jason X. You could be the one with the hood on. You could be all that stuff. And the fun fact is they actually got Kane Hodder to do the actual blue dot thing.
And he
was the guy for it.
Yeah, he was Jason in a lot of the the best of the Friday the 13th.
5 through 10, he was Jason Voorhees. And it's a fun fact about him. One, he's a really nice guy.
Yes, I met him.
Me too. And the other thing is when I met him, I'm not really intimidated by most people that I meet. He's very intimidating because he looks like a giant
physically
biker.
imposing.
Unfortunately, he's a burn victim, so he has burn marks like that.
Right.
But he's such a nice guy. Yeah,
that's why he always wears gloves.
Back in his early days, he was just a stunt man, and he did a stunt gone wrong with gasoline, and it literally blew up on him.
Man.
And his book was amazing because I got to read it, and they really did him wrong back in the 80s. Like, they didn't have the proper treatment for him, so that's why he's all scarred up.
Right.
And to this day, like, it says that he would actually take a leak on the guy's grave. The actual doctor who took care of him.
No kidding.
He hates him that much of what happened.
Wow. Unbelievable.
But it's a fun thing. If you meet him, he actually picks you up and chokes you out.
Yes.
And he really does pick you up a little bit.
That's great.
But he's a good guy. Me and him shared some PBRs together.
Awesome.
He has his own show now, too, but about his story.
Right.
But if you ever check out his book and find it, you guys should check it out. It's pretty good.
Yeah, Kane Hodder, the great Jason in a lot of the Friday the 13th movies. We're here with Mr. Halloween, Chris Webb, one of our frequent Twitter contributors. We're going to do a quick break. We'll come back, and we'll talk some more horror movies and stuff. All right,
it's Halloween, baby. I'm here all day.
If anybody has any other horror movie stuff they want to throw out or anything Halloween, give us a holler. 866 The Beat. We'll be right back.